Chiefs off-season moves, risky or rewarded? The Kansas City Chiefs entered the 2025 offseason with a bitter taste in their mouths after a crushing 40-22 defeat to the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 59. The loss ended their hopes of a historic three-peat and exposed glaring weaknesses, particularly along the offensive line, which struggled to protect quarterback Patrick Mahomes. General Manager Brett Veach and the Chiefs front office faced a pivotal offseason, tasked with addressing roster deficiencies while navigating a tight salary cap. With key players hitting free agency and a draft class expected to shape the franchise's future, the Chiefs made several high-profile moves. Were these decisions risky gambles or calculated steps toward redemption? Let's break it down. The context: a dynasty at a crossroads. The Chiefs have been the NFL's gold standard, reaching 5 Super Bowls in 6 years and securing 3 titles. However, the Super Bowl 59 loss highlighted vulnerabilities. The offensive line was overwhelmed, allowing relentless pressure on Mahomes, who was sacked more in 2024 than in any prior season. The receiving corps, despite flashes of brilliance, lacked consistency outside of an aging Travis Kelce. Defensively, the secondary and defensive line faced potential losses in free agency, threatening the unit's depth. With only $12 million in cap space, after restructuring Mahomes and Chris Jones' contracts, and 8 draft picks, including 4 in the top 100, Veach had to balance retaining core players, addressing weaknesses, and planning for the future. Key off-season moves. 1. Franchise tagging Trey Smith and trading Joe Thuney. The move: the Chiefs used the franchise tag on guard Trey Smith, a 2024 Pro Bowler, to keep him from hitting free agency. To create cap space, they traded veteran guard Joe Thuney to the Chicago Bears for a 2026 fourth-round pick, freeing up $16 million. Risk: losing Thuney, a 2-time All-Pro and one of the NFL's best guards, is a massive blow. His versatility and reliability anchored the offensive line for years. Trading him prioritizes a younger, cheaper player in Smith, but weakens a unit already exposed in the Super Bowl. Smith, while talented, may not match Thuney's elite consistency, and his franchise tag, $17.2 million for 2025, is a short-term fix unless a long-term deal is reached. Reward: retaining Smith, who's only 25, preserves a homegrown talent with upside. The cap relief allowed the Chiefs to make additional moves, and the trade netted a future draft pick. Promoting in-house options like Mike Caliendo or Hunter Nerzad could mitigate Thuney's loss cost-effectively. If Smith signs a long-term deal, his cap hit could decrease, providing flexibility. Verdict: risky. Thuney's departure weakens a critical area, and the success of this move hinges on Smith's development and unproven backups stepping up. 2. Signing Jalen Moore as starting left tackle. The move: the Chiefs signed former San Francisco 49ers tackle Jalen Moore to a 2-year deal to start at left tackle, replacing a carousel of underwhelming options: Kingsley Suamataia, Wanya Morris, DJ Humphries, and Thuney as a stopgap. Risk: Moore is a gamble. With only 12 career starts and 275 snaps per season, he's unproven as a full-time starter. His 74.9 PFF grade in 2024 is solid but not elite, and he's never faced the pressure of protecting Mahomes' blindside for 17 games. The Chiefs passed on pricier veterans like Kevin Zeitler, betting on Moore's upside, but a failure here could leave Mahomes vulnerable again. Reward: Moore's youth, 27, and affordable contract align with the Chiefs' cap constraints. His playoff experience with the 49ers and plus 70.0 PFF grades in recent years suggest potential. If he develops into a reliable starter, the Chiefs address a glaring need without breaking the bank, preserving funds for other positions. Verdict: risky. Moore's lack of experience makes this a high-stakes bet, but the upside is significant if he adapts quickly. 3. Re-signing key free agents: Nick Bolton, Hollywood Brown, and Kareem Hunt. The move: the Chiefs re-signed linebacker Nick Bolton to a multi-year deal, brought back wide receiver Hollywood Brown on a 1-year contract, and retained running back Kareem Hunt for another year. Risk: Bolton's contract, while securing a defensive leader, could strain the cap if his performance doesn't match his $8 to $10 million annual value. Brown's injury-plagued 2024 season raises concerns about his reliability, and his 1-year deal means the Chiefs may need to address the receiver position again in 2026. Hunt, at 30, is a short-term solution, and his 700-yard 2024 season doesn't guarantee future production. Reward: Bolton, 24, is a tackling machine, 100-plus tackles in 3 seasons, and Steve Spagnuolo's on-field general, providing continuity. Brown's speed stretches defenses, and a healthy season could elevate the passing game. Hunt's familiarity with Andy Reid's system and ability to spell Isaiah Pacheco add depth. These moves prioritize known quantities over untested free agents. Verdict: rewarded. These re-signings maintain stability and leverage existing chemistry, though Brown's health remains a concern. 4. Adding depth: Christian Fulton, Jerry Tillery, and Elijah Mitchell. The move: the Chiefs signed cornerback Christian Fulton, 2-year deal, defensive lineman Jerry Tillery, 1-year deal, and running back Elijah Mitchell, 1-year deal, to bolster depth. Risk: Fulton's injury history, never playing more than 15 games in a season, could leave the secondary thin, especially after losing safety Justin Reid. Tillery's low statistical output means he's a depth piece, not a game-changer, and the defensive line still needs draft reinforcements. Mitchell's injury-prone career, unable to stay healthy since 2021, makes him a risky bet to complement Pacheco and Hunt. Reward: Fulton's addition allows flexibility in the secondary, letting Trent McDuffie shift to the slot, where he excels. Tillery's versatility, playing both interior and edge, adds depth behind Chris Jones. Mitchell, when healthy, brings explosiveness, and his low-cost deal minimizes financial risk. These moves address needs without long-term commitments. Verdict: risky. The injury concerns across all 3 players make these signings precarious, but their potential impact could outweigh the cost if they stay healthy. 5. Drafting Josh Simmons and building for the future. The move: the Chiefs traded up to select Ohio State left tackle Josh Simmons with the 32nd overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, acquired via a trade with the Eagles. They also added linebacker Jeff Bassa, edge rusher Ashton Gillette, and running back Brashard Smith, among others, with 4 top 100 picks. Risk: Simmons, while a top 10 talent, is a rookie tasked with protecting Mahomes in a high-pressure environment. Any growing pains could exacerbate the offensive line struggles. The other picks, Bassa, Gillette, Smith, are projected contributors, but their immediate impact is uncertain, and the Chiefs' limited draft capital, 6 picks total, means misses could hurt. Reward: Simmons is a home run pick, addressing the left tackle need long-term. His athleticism and 5-year option provide stability and cost control. Bassa's versatility fits Spagnuolo's scheme, Gillette bolsters the pass rush, and Smith's dynamic skill set adds offensive depth. With 4 top 100 selections, the Chiefs maximized their draft capital to build a sustainable roster. Verdict: rewarded. Simmons alone makes this draft a success, and the additional picks align with the Chiefs' history of developing talent. The bigger picture: balancing risk and reward. The Chiefs' offseason reflects a clear strategy: prioritize youth, manage the cap, and address the offensive line while maintaining defensive continuity. However, the moves carry significant risks. Trading Thuney and signing more bet heavily on unproven players to protect Mahomes, a gamble that could derail the offense if they falter. The injury histories of Fulton, Mitchell, and even Brown introduce uncertainty, and the loss of veterans like Reid and Tershawn Wharton could weaken depth. On the reward side, retaining Smith and Bolton ensures core pieces remain, and Simmons' addition signals a long-term fix at left tackle. The draft class, paired with cost-effective signings like Tillery and Hunt, positions the Chiefs to stay competitive while managing financial constraints. The restructurings of Mahomes and Jones contracts demonstrate savvy cap management, keeping the dynasty's window open. What the experts say. Analysts are mixed. CBS Sports gave the Chiefs a B- grade, praising the focus on the offensive line but noting Moore's inexperience. Pro Football Focus Thomas Valentine called Thuney's loss too big of a blow, even with Smith's tag, and labeled Moore's signing risky. USA Today's Tyler Dragon sees upside in Moore and lauds the Chiefs for addressing needs, predicting another AFC West title. Posts on X reflect fan optimism about Simmons and Moore but concern over Thuney's departure. The verdict: more risk than reward, but hope remains. The Chiefs' offseason is a high-stakes balancing act. The offensive line overhaul, trading Thuney, tagging Smith, signing Moore, and drafting Simmons, is a bold attempt to fix a critical weakness, but the reliance on inexperienced players like Moore and untested backups makes it fraught with peril. The depth signings, Fulton, Tillery, Mitchell, are low-cost, high-upside moves, but their injury risks loom large. Re-signing Bolton, Brown, and Hunt provides stability, and the draft class, led by Simmons, is a step toward sustainability. However, the loss of proven veterans like Thuney and Reed tips the scale toward risk. That said, the Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and a track record of defying odds. If Moore and Simmons solidify the offensive line, and the depth players stay healthy, Kansas City could reclaim the NFL throne. For now, the moves lean risky, but the potential rewards keep the Chiefs in the Super Bowl conversation. The 2025 season will reveal whether Veach's gambles pay off or leave the dynasty vulnerable. Patrick Mahomes' legacy, the next chapter. On the field, evolving as a quarterback. Mahomes' game is evolving. In 2024, he threw for 4,183 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions, solid but below his 2018 to 2020 peak. His 63.1% completion rate was a career low, reflecting an inconsistent receiving core and increased pressure, sacked 46 times. Yet, his playoff brilliance, 3,097 yards and 25 touchdowns over 3 postseason runs, shows he's still the NFL's clutch performer. In 2025, expect Mahomes to lean on his football IQ. Andy Reid's play calling will emphasize quick reads and short passes to counter aggressive pass rushes, with Kelsey and Brown as primary targets. Rookie Brashard Smith, a dynamic running back drafted in the 4th round, could add a new dimension to the offense. Mahomes' mobility, while still elite, 540 rushing yards in 2024, will be used selectively to preserve his body. If Simmons and Moore gel, Mahomes could return to his 5,000-yard, 40-touchdown form. If not, he'll need to rely on his improvisational magic to mask the line's flaws. Off the field, shaping a global brand. Mahomes' off-field influence will grow. His foundation is expanding, with plans for new youth sports facilities in Kansas City. His media presence, including appearances on Monday Night Football broadcasts and potential production deals, positions him as the NFL's face. Posts on X highlight his marketability, with fans calling him the modern-day Jordan for his crossover appeal. However, increased scrutiny comes with fame. Brittany Mahomes' public feuds and political comments have sparked debates, and Patrick's ability to navigate these distractions will shape his public image. The long-term vision, chasing immortality. Mahomes' ultimate goal is to surpass Brady. With 3 rings at 29, he's ahead of Brady's pace, 3 rings at 33. If he averages 1 title every 3 years, he could reach 7 by 38. However, Brady's 23-year career and durability set a high bar. Mahomes' style, more reliant on athleticism, may require adjustments as he ages. Studying film of Peyton Manning and Drew Brees, who thrived in their 30s with precision, could guide his evolution. Injuries are the wild card. Mahomes has been durable, missing only 4 starts since 2018, but the Super Bowl 59 beating underscored the need for better protection. His work with biomechanics experts to optimize his throwing motion and recovery, as reported by ESPN, shows his commitment to longevity. What the experts say. Analysts are bullish on Mahomes' future. ESPN's Dan Orlovsky ranks him as the NFL's best quarterback, citing his unmatched creativity. Pro Football Focus notes his 92.3 PFF grade in 2024, second only to Burrow. NFL Network's Rich Eisen predicts Mahomes will win at least 2 more rings by 2030, given his track record. However, some, like The Athletic's Mike Sando, caution that the offensive line's uncertainty could cap his ceiling in 2025. X posts reflect fan confidence, with one viral thread calling him the GOAT in waiting, but urging Veach to fix the damn line. The verdict, a legacy still ascending. Patrick Mahomes' legacy is far from complete. The Super Bowl 59 loss, while painful, is a chapter, not the story's end. At 29, he's in the sweet spot of experience and athleticism, with a coach in Reid and a system tailored to his gifts. The 2025 season will test his ability to overcome roster turnover and a brutal AFC, but his history suggests he'll rise to the challenge. Whether it's a 4th ring, another MVP, or simply dragging a flawed team to the playoffs, Mahomes will add to his legend. The next chapter is about resilience. If Simmons and Moore solidify the line, and Brown stays healthy, Mahomes could reclaim the throne. If not, his grit will be on display, improvising behind a shaky front. Long-term, his pursuit of Brady's record, off-field empire, and impact on Kansas City ensure his place in history. The Chiefs' dynasty may wobble, but Mahomes' star burns brighter than ever. The NFL world is watching, and the kid from Tyler, Texas, is ready to write his next masterpiece. Chiefs' biggest weakness, exposed in preseason? The Kansas City Chiefs entered the 2025 NFL preseason as favorites to reclaim the Super Bowl title after a humbling 40-22 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 59. With Patrick Mahomes at the helm, a retooled roster, and Andy Reid's offensive genius, expectations were sky-high. However, the preseason, a three-game slate against the Detroit Lions, Chicago Bears, and Jacksonville Jaguars, raised red flags about a familiar weakness, the offensive line. Exposed in the Super Bowl and only partially addressed in the offseason, the Chiefs' front five struggled to protect Mahomes and open running lanes. Did the preseason confirm the offensive line as Kansas City's Achilles heel, or is it too early to sound the alarm? Let's dive into the evidence, the context, and what it means for the Chiefs' 2025 campaign. The backdrop, a dynasty's lingering flaw. The Chiefs' offensive line has been a roller coaster. In 2020, Super Bowl 55 saw Mahomes pressured on 56% of dropbacks, leading to a 31-9 loss to Tampa Bay. A 2021 overhaul brought stalwarts like Joe Thuney and Creed Humphrey, stabilizing the unit. However, cracks reappeared in 2024. Injuries to DJ Humphries, inconsistent play from Kingsley Suamataia, and run game inconsistency. The 4.1 YPC average is mediocre, and the line failed to create consistent push outside of Smith's breakout runs. Pacheco and Hunt need better blocking to balance Reid's offense. Penalties. 4 penalties in 3 games, including Taylor's false start, point to discipline issues that could stall drives in close games. However, there are silver linings. Humphrey and Smith remain elite, anchoring the interior. Simmons' athleticism suggests he could overtake more by mid-season. The run game showed flashes, particularly with rookie Brashard Smith's explosiveness. Reid's scheme, which uses quick passes and misdirection, can mask line deficiencies, as seen in Mahomes' clean pocket in the Bears game. Context matters. Preseason versus regular season. Preseason games are a limited lens. Starters played only 20-30% of snaps, and Reid's vanilla play calling avoided tipping strategies. Opponents like the Lions showed more effort, while the Jaguars treated their game as a tune-up. PFF's preseason grades often differ from regular season performance. In 2024, the Chiefs line ranked 22nd in the preseason but finished 15th by Week 18. Mahomes' ability to evade pressure, he avoided 12.4% of pressures in 2024, per next-gen stats, and Reid's adjustments can mitigate weaknesses. Still, the preseason exposed real concerns. The 19.4% pressure rate is higher than the Chiefs' 2024 regular season mark, 17.8%. Moore's struggles against Hutchinson mirror his 2024 performance against Nick Bosa, suggesting elite rushers will exploit him. The lack of depth is troubling, given the Chiefs' injury history. Humphries and Suamataia missed time in 2024. The AFC's top teams, Buffalo, Baltimore, Cincinnati, boast fearsome pass rushers, and Week 1 against the Ravens' Kyle Van Noy and Odafe will be a litmus test. What the experts say. Analysts are divided. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler called the offensive line a work in progress, noting Moore's inconsistency but praising Simmons' upside. PFF's Sam Monson flagged Caliendo as the weak link, predicting the Chiefs will lean on Mahomes' mobility early. The Athletic's Nate Taylor sees Simmons starting by Week 4, arguing Moore is a placeholder. USA Today's Michael Middlehurst-Schwartz gave the line a C+ grade, citing depth issues but confidence in Reid's scheming. X posts reflect fan anxiety, with one viral thread stating, "If Moore can't block, Mahomes is running for his life again." Others are optimistic, pointing to Humphrey and Smith as a top 5 interior duo. The path forward. Can the Chiefs fix it? The Chiefs have options to address the offensive line before the regular season. Accelerate Simmons' development. Simmons' 70.1 PFF grade against Chicago suggests he's close to starting. Extra reps in practice could prepare him for a Week 1 role, benching Moore as a swing tackle. Scheme around weaknesses. Reid can use chip blocks from Kelsey or Hunt, quick passes to Hollywood Brown, and rollouts to reduce pressure. In 2024, 42% of Mahomes' dropbacks were quick throws, under 2.5 seconds, per next-gen stats. Explore trades. With $8 million in cap space post-restructurings, The Chiefs could target a veteran like the Giants' Andrew Thomas or the Titans' Nicholas Petit-Frere before the October 2025 trade deadline. Lean on the run game. Pacheco, Hunt, and Brashard Smith can keep defenses honest, reducing pass-blocking demands. Smith's 5.2 YPC in the preseason hints at untapped potential. The verdict: exposed, but not doomed. The 2025 preseason confirmed the offensive line as the Chiefs' biggest weakness. Moore's struggles, Caliendo's and Nerzad's inconsistencies, and a lack of depth echo the issues that plagued Kansas City in Super Bowl 59. The 19.4% pressure rate and 4.1 YPC average are red flags, and penalties suggest discipline issues. Facing an AFC loaded with pass-rushing talent, the line's performance could make or break the Chiefs' Super Bowl hopes. However, it's not panic time. Humphrey and Smith are elite, Simmons is a high-upside rookie, and Reed's scheming can hide flaws. Mahomes' ability to extend plays, his 12.4% pressure avoidance rate led the NFL in 2024, buys time for the line to gel. The preseason exposed weaknesses, but it also showed potential, particularly in Simmons and the run game. If the Chiefs can protect Mahomes 70% of the time and create modest running lanes, their offense remains unstoppable. The regular season will tell the tale. Week 1 against Baltimore looms as a proving ground. For now, the offensive line is a liability, but with Mahomes, Reed, and a talented core, the Chiefs are far from exposed. The dynasty's next chapter depends on whether this weakness becomes a fatal flaw or a hurdle they overcome. Chiefs training camp battles. Who's making a statement? As the Kansas City Chiefs kicked off their 2025 training camp in St. Joseph, Missouri, the air buzzed with anticipation. Coming off a 40-22 Super Bowl 59 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles, the Chiefs are hungry to reclaim their throne. With Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and a retooled roster, Kansas City remains the AFC's team to beat. However, training camp is where the 2025 roster takes shape, and several position battles are stealing the spotlight. From the offensive,